People who mistreated you, who did not like you, who mishandled you, now want access to you, and you should absolutely deny them access. People from your past need to stay in the past. I don't believe in revisiting situations, relationships, people who did me harm in the past. That's not to say you should hang on to unforgiveness, that you should hold a grudge against other people, but under no circumstances do you give access to people who burned you in the past in your present. There's something about people who, when you were around, they did not appreciate you. They did not love you. They did not encourage you. They did not support you. They took every opportunity they could to belittle you and put you down. They were often showing jealousy and envy towards you, trying to embarrass you every chance that they could. And now that you have matured as a woman, now that you have elevated in some way, be it financially, physically, mentally, spiritually, now they want to come around. People like that need to have access denied. Do not allow them to have access to you, because when you allow toxic people from your past to come into your present, especially when they have not changed, people from your past who are still doing the same things they were doing when you were around them, they are still acting in the same way. They don't show any sign of maturity or wisdom, or that they know how to act or treat you right. Those are not people that you want to allow near you now that you're doing better. I believe that you don't go back and revisit situations that God delivered you from. Why would you dig into your past for somebody who was no good for you then to come back into your life now? People from the past need to stay in the past. What happens when you allow people from your past who mistreated you and took advantage of you to come into your present, they will still try to respond to you and react to you as if you are that same person from the past. People who often were toxic in relationships and situations, people who didn't know how to really appreciate the woman that you are, when they come into your present, they often want to take you back to how you used to be. They want to have you believe that somehow, now that you've changed, you could somehow tolerate their toxic behavior more. It's no accountability on the part of the person who is often the toxic one in the situation or the relationship. When you have been delivered, when you have been set free, when you decided to walk away from somebody in your past, you need to let them stay there. People who burn you, who deliberately show you that they don't like you, that they don't really care for you in some way, you don't need to have close interaction with them. And I don't care if it's your family, if it's a friend you've known for 50, 40, 30, 20 years. If those people always brought chaos and drama into your life, and you notice that every time you were around them, you never got anything done, you never really felt that good about yourself, you always felt like you were in some kind of battle, some kind of spiritual warfare, those are people that need to stay in the past. Now, that doesn't mean that you hold a grudge against them. That doesn't mean that you hang on to unforgiveness, because hanging on to unforgiveness, that's not for the person. You don't forgive people for them. You forgive them for yourself so that you can move on. But forgiveness is not equal to having that person in your life. And what happens when people are trying to be sneaky and sneak their way back into your life and gain access to you, they want you to believe that forgiveness means that I want you around. And people who were toxic, jealous, envious, manipulative, who didn't treat you well from your past, anytime they try to convince you that you're obligated to have them around because you forgive them, they are still the same kind of person that they used to be. Because if they changed in some way, they would understand that true forgiveness would mean that they changed and the way they treat you has changed. I'm not saying that you shouldn't give people second chances if you desire to do so, but you're not obligated to do so. You're not obligated to let people come in and hurt you, especially when they're showing signs and symptoms of being the same exact person they used to be. So keep people in the past. Now, also, when it comes to denying access to you, not just people in the past, but also people, and this is one that I strongly believe as women, we have to be very mindful of. Be mindful of denying access to women who give you that Intimidation factor. What do I mean by intimidation factor? Much like the monitoring spirit, the women who just like to stare at you and look at you and somehow give you that vibe that they just don't like you. These are often women that you might have known for years, women that you're in close proximity to, where they don't say much to you, but they just look at you. They just stare at you as if they cannot stand you. They don't make conversation, but they always find a way to get into your space. Deny those kind of people access. People who like to stare into the depths of your soul and not say anything. When I see women like that, it's almost as if they're calling you out, as if they're trying to size you up and see how they can come at you in some way. I often liken that to how it is in many urban environments, many hood environments, where women like to walk around sizing each other up. Deny access to you by those women. Do not allow them access to you, because when you allow women who like to rule with intimidation and bullying and monitoring spirits, they will absolutely make you feel nervous, make you feel uncomfortable. And this has nothing to do with fear or being a punk, as they used to say back in the day. This has to do with being the woman that actually has a pure spirit, meaning spiritually, you are clean before God, you are trying to be. And when you have women in your circle who are like that, they want to bring out the worst in you. They want to bring out the wickedness in you. They want to see how far they can push you before you become savage just like them. Women like that like to rule with intimidation and bullying, and they feel like if they could stare you down, if they could look into the depths of your soul with such intimidation and meanness and cattiness and just get you feeling all out of sorts, then somehow they can throw you off your game and make you feel just as uncomfortable, less confident, and like you're not that girl. Women who like to rule with intimidation and bullying, who like to actually make women feel uncomfortable on purpose, use intimidation. And I know all of you know exactly what I mean, because if you've ever been in a group of women for a minuscule amount of time, you always look over and at least see one or two women that are just staring into the depths of your soul as if you've done something wrong by just being there. Have you ever walked into a store and the clerk working there might be a woman and she doesn't say anything to you? She just looks up at you, and then the next person comes in and might be a guy or a woman of a different race, and suddenly she's more cheery. That's very wicked and very evil, and that's how women who are jealous of other women like to rule with intimidation. And that's not so much about denying access. That's about how women like to use this evil monitoring like spirit to try to intimidate other women. That's not denying access. You just want to stay away from those kind of people. You want to stay away from people, especially women, who like to intimidate by staring into your soul, by trying to make you feel uncomfortable. And then also when it comes to denying access, you want to deny access from people who did not believe in you. Deny access to people who did not believe that you were actually going to accomplish the things that you set out to accomplish. There are some people who, when you talk, when you speak, they act like what you're saying does not matter. They don't care about what you're saying. They actually hope that you do not accomplish half of the things that you set out to do, because in doing so, you will make them feel bad about themselves. And they show you that by how they speak about the things that you talk to them about. If you speak to them about, like, I want to buy a house, I want to do this, I want to do that, they will always have a problem for every positive thing that you say. But then when you accomplish that thing, that's when you see their whole mentality change, where not only are they being negative, now they're barely speaking to you, but yet somehow they still want to be around you. They still want to be in your space with that uncomfortable energy, that dead energy. It's like they refuse to remove themselves because they want to stick around to make you feel uncomfortable about your life. Deny those people access. People who are just there taking up space but not being supportive, deny them access. You don't need to have people around you who are secretly hating on you and secretly wishing you bad in life. You don't need people around you who are secretly upset with you simply because you refuse to stay stagnant, because you refuse to allow their negative energy to rub off on you. Deny those people access. And then on a different note, because this is a little bit of a sidebar, and I have to add it to this video because this goes in line with the kind of people you want to deny access to yourself. You want to deny them access to you. People who get a kick out of telling horrible stories about you or making you look bad. I saw another, and forgive me for my other video, I said the wrong podcast name. Actually, it was the Dear Future Wifey podcast, where they keep on bringing on these couples where the men are going out of their way to embarrass and humiliate their wives. Well, there was another one where the wife was actually saying how she was being patient, and it's always what God said. She said she was being patient with her husband. He was grieving his first wife who passed away, and he actually got a tattoo of his wife on him while they were together. Not that he already had it, that would be understandable. But while they were getting together, he courted her. They were married, and he went and got a tattoo of his previous wife, his widow, on his arm. And he actually said he did this as a test. You want to deny people access to you who do not like you. And I hate to say this, but a lot of women are getting together with men who actually just settled for them. You never want to be with someone who just settled for you. Someone who was, chose you because you were convenient, because you were the only option. That's not what you want. And a lot of women are now reaping the consequences of dealing with men who just chose them because they were available. They were like the best thing there right now in the moment. So he embarrassed her by saying, I kind of did this as a test too. He was testing her to see how she would respond if he got a tattoo of his late wife on him. Do you know how demented and sick that is? Psychologically, yes, there's nothing wrong with allowing a man to grieve over his wife, his previous wife if she passed away. But if he was not ready to be married again or date, he should not have been with her. And a woman who knows her worth and knows her value does not allow a man to test her in that way. He said you would have to wake up every morning and see this. And he got it. He got it. And she was with him. And of course, she went about saying how God graced her to do all this. People keep putting God in things where God is not a spirit of confusion. So God is not going to torment you in that way. And then tattoos, that's a whole nother subject. I got this when I was 18, before you say anything. But I digress. But the point of me saying this and giving you this story is that you do not want to allow people who don't really value you, don't really see you as precious, to have access to you, especially in relationships. Too many women are getting into relationships with men who see themselves as the princess, as the dainty one, as the one that needs to be covered, and that he has to test her to see if she's worthy. And I'm not saying that a man feeling good about himself is not a good thing. Yes, a man should feel like he's a blessing to you as much as you are a blessing to him. But what we have today is that there are a lot of men who are testing women to see how much humiliation they can handle. And a woman who is valuable, who values herself and loves herself, she will deny a man who wants to humiliate her access to her. She will already see the signs and symptoms of the fact that he is a clown, that he is a bozo, and deny him access. Do not marry a man who wants to test you to see how much humiliation you can take. That is the point. So, and not just men and women alike. People who want to make you the butt of their jokes, who always want you to make the topic, your personal life, the topic of their discussions in the public with other people, deny those people access to you. You do not need to be around people who only want you around so that they can make you their entertainment. As I have said in previous videos, you are not for anyone's entertainment. And the sooner you understand that, the better off you will be. But stop allowing people access to you who don't really love you, don't really care for you. Sometimes they all out hate you. They're jealous of you. They don't like how you move. They don't like how you operate. And because of that, they will do whatever they want, or try to do whatever they want to do to get close to you so they can put you through the same foolishness that they did in the past, or that they can try your patience and humiliate you in the public. Deny those people access to you. They don't deserve to be in your presence. They don't deserve your time and energy. And you are worth more than dredging up the past and bringing it into a present that is so bright. If you are having a great life right now and you're doing better than what you were, don't go back to old boyfriends from the past. Don't go back to people who made your life hard in the past, because more than likely they're going to do the same thing in the future. And while we're talking about that, Nelly and Ashanti come to mind, because I saw a clip of Nelly on live on TikTok, I believe, and Ashanti was actually pumping milk at the time. And because they had a baby, just had a baby, second baby, I think. And this man, Nelly, when I was younger, early 2000s, that was my time being a teenager. I loved his music, all of that kind of stuff, But him as a person, he seems a little bit immature to be 50 years old. And the stuff that he's putting her through, he doesn't respect her boundaries, number one. And then number two, she asked him over and over again, I don't want to get on live, get off of live, get off. He likes to laugh everything off. Beware of men who like to laugh everything off and act like what you're saying is no big deal. He stayed on that live the entire time, despite her pumping milk for their baby, despite her saying that she didn't want to be on live, he continued to do it. No respect. When a man doesn't respect you, he is not going to honor your boundaries. And I bring this story up to further prove the point that you do not need to dig into your past history to come into your present. Some people are happy about the fact that Nelly and Ashanti found their way back to each other. In the early 2000s, they could have been a couple, but there was some other things going on between her and another part of the industry person. I forget, Irv Gotti or one of those was in the way. And they found their way back to one another. But now what? She's with an immature man-child, and having a lot of money doesn't make you happy. Having a lot of money, that's good. It makes you comfortable, but that still doesn't defeat the purpose that you're dealing with an immature man-child. And Nelly seems to be that. The point of me saying this is that they might look cute on paper, but her digging into the past and getting back with somebody in her past, now she's dealing with a man who is a disrespectful man-child who doesn't respect her boundaries. And I'm pretty sure, and I know I can't sum up their entire relationship from that clip, but I'm pretty sure that he tends to laugh off a lot of things that are not laughable moments. And for me as a woman, I just don't know. I can't deal with a man-child kind of man. Everybody's preference is different. But he's showing strange signs of immaturity to be a 50-year-old man. But I digress. But the point of me saying this, ladies, is that to make the point that you don't want to dig into your past. You don't have to be so desperate for male attention, male friendships, male relationships, any kind of relationships, where you dig back into the past to grab the same devils that were tormenting you in the past and bring them into your future. You're worth more than that. You don't have to pick up old scraps or try to water dead plants and bring them back to life in order to have a beautiful future. That is the point. Deny these people access and trust that the people who are for you, and that you want to have people. This is another thing. You want to have people in your life that line up with where you are right now and not where you used to be. A lot of times we grow as women and we elevate as women and we're doing better mentally, spiritually, physically, what have you. And we try to bring those same people who were down, actually a part of our downfall in the past, we try to bring them into the future. And sometimes they just don't fit. Not to say that they can't grow as well, but sometimes people actually do stay exactly the way you left them. They stay in that same toxicity, that same negative way, very stagnant, very stuck, very immature. And the last thing you need to do is to bring them into your future in hopes that they changed, in hopes that they now understand things. Life is too short to be hoping and waiting for somebody to get it together. You can hope and pray that people get it together and be there to support them, but they don't have to be an integral part of your life. They don't have to be in your close circle. You don't have to marry them. You don't have to be in a relationship with them to be supportive. Okay? So, ladies, there are certain people that in your present, you need to deny them access to you. Don't dig into the past looking for people who made your life miserable to make your life better in the future, because I guarantee you they will not. All right? Like and subscribe to the channel and share this content. Hit the notification bell so that you're aware when I post a brand new video. If you watch this video until the very end, put the high heel emoji in the comment section. I absolutely love to see it. Take care.